Big weekend of footy, of course. Power in a come-from-behind win. Cage in the third quarter run over the top of Hawthorn in the last quarter. The Crows, on the other hand, looked like they had it stitched up at halftime, up by 19 points, overrun by Richmond in the hail. Probably finished the Crows season. Let's start with the Power first, though, Cage. Second win for Matty Primus. Gee, they've changed just a little bit, the Power, in the last 3 weeks.
Like, you've got to ask the question, what were these players doing 3 or 4 weeks ago when they were playing for Choco? They are playing with unbelievable commitment now. Now, that really gets up my nose to the extent that he was Choco. You know, how much, and the players were saying, we want Choco, we love Choco. And we kept saying, well then show it on the scoreboard. It's an amazing situation. Choco showed too much faith in some of those players, and unfortunately, I think Choco paid the price for that. And those players have got to take a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror.
Could it simply be, Cage, that some of the players are coming back off injury? Cracker back in, Gray back in.
That helps.
Suddenly you get some people back in.
But it's only one game. Like, the commitment last week against Adelaide was unbelievable. They made Adelaide look silly, commitment-wise, and their contested balls. The winning of the contested ball against one of the strongest sides in the comp in Hawthorn was unbelievable at the weekend. Unbelievable. And I asked the question, and good luck to Matty Primus. What were they doing before these players?
All right, style of game changed much. I mean, they beat Hawthorn at their own game, contested marks, which normally means you're playing a straighter brand of footy. Cage. Have you been able to pick that up or not?
No question. And the other thing that they did, they put... Now, normally, Kane Corns will take their captain, Sam Mitchell. Kane Corns took
Hodge, their best player.
The player who's been killing other sides, and that was a very positive move by Matty Primus. I expected Kane Corns to pick up Sam Mitchell. He didn't. He went to Luke Hodge. Hodge had no effect in the game at all. And again, Kane Corns did the job. Look, there is a different game plan. Their forwards took big marks. Schultz, Westhoff. Like, he's a rejuvenated player, Westhoff. Where's he been the last 2 months?
Oh, a little bit of confidence, Cage. Had a big one against the Crows, and maybe Treadray's gone, no shadow now. He doesn't feel like Treaders is going to come back in, so this is my big chance to stamp authority here.
Look, good luck to Port Adelaide. Good luck to Matty Primus. But, hey, some of those players let Choco down big time.
Yeah, I don't think you could argue with that. Now, the Crows, of course, Cage, talk about being let down a little bit. We're all feeling a little bit let down. 19 points up at halftime. Could have been a lot more. 4 goals.
The game should have been over, dead set at halftime.
4 goals, 9 in the second quarter, Cage.
13 scoring shots. They had complete and utter control of the game. 4 goals, 9. The previous week, their goal kicking is deplorable. Now, questions have to be asked. Really, and I mean strong questions. Who is responsible for the technique of some of those players when taking shots for goal? Tippett has not had the right technique in the last 2 seasons. We saw young Dangerfield yesterday having a shot for goal, and the ball drop was disgraceful. Now, that's technique. And inaccuracy has killed them.
Well, Cage, I can tell you from experience, it's very hard to change a player's technique. So then it comes down to practice. So now the question is, are they being allowed to practice enough, or is the fitness guys coming in? Not just them. I mean, Hawthorn are going through it as well. Roughhead's in a bad patch. Are they spending enough time on their kicking, or are there just too many things to get through? But in saying that, Cage, they're 19 points up.
Yep.
At halftime, not kicking well.
No.
Even if they had have continued not to kick well, you'd say they still should have won. So it's not just in front of goal that it happens.
No, that's true. And they've obviously come out in the third quarter and think that this, they're led by 19 points at halftime. They'll just take control of it again. And it didn't happen. To Richmond's credit, they took away the control. But as I said, the game should have been over at halftime. Game, set and match at halftime. 13 scoring shots in a quarter of footy, and you kick 4-9. You don't deserve to win.
All right, I think the other big thing, Cage, that's missing is the experience. How important now?
Yeah, leadership.
Tyson of Edwards had he not retired in the wake of McLeod and Goodwin injured. Sometimes in front of goals, I was thinking this over the weekend, Tippett misses or Dangerfield misses, Tyson Edwards or Goodwin or McLeod or Burton come up and say, don't worry about it, son, everything will be okay, as opposed to, no disrespect, if Taylor Walker comes up and does it, doesn't have quite the impact of those experienced players. So I think that experience has hurt them. The question that most people would like the answer to is 2 games that could have got them into the top 8, big pressure games, haven't been able to produce. Now, there's been a criticism in the past of them being able to play in the big games. Is there a line coming along that way or not?
No, look, when you kick 4-9, you've got all of the footy. You're doing something right to win the footy. You've got the agate. You're going inside 50 umpteen times. You just have to kick normally and the game's over. But I'll go back to my point. questions have to be asked as to what is being done or what is not being done at West Lakes to rectify this situation, because their technique of a couple of their players is ordinary. Now, that's not good enough, and somebody has to be accountable for it.
Coach, if your technique's not good, you can't change your technique.
Well,
the only way
no,
it can
but you can
improve
improve it.
is to spend more time on
Well,
it.
that's exactly, and are they?
So that's the area you'd ask. But the second question I come back to is that, okay, we can point the finger at the kicking, but they were 19 points up.
Yeah.
Even with bad kicking, they were still 19 points up. So it's not just the kicking.
Well, it's not just
So I don't know they can focus on just one area. I think the experience of having those guys
look,
has affected them.
There's no question missing the experienced players. That's had some effect. But as I said, they're doing something right to win the footy. Richmond were out of the game. They were gone.
Yep.
Dead set gone. Anyway.
In saying all that, before we go, the hail, ever seen anything like it in the last quarter?
It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Gee whiz.
That was Ben coming in for his kick. Hail
was
start.
lucky to get
It
his
was a
bloody boot
fantastic.
onto
It was a fantastic shot.
It was, but
Nice not to be there.
lucky to get his boot onto it, gentlemen.
Fair enough.
Catch you next week.